Welcome to a new anime review series. This is my review for first 4 episodes of the series How Not to Summon a Demon Lord. Yep, and these episodes are from the very first book of the series. Yep, and the series itself is pretty much the plot of the series is this. Phew. Okay. Apologies for that. Yeah, I unexpectedly sneezed. Okay, the plot of the series is this. Is that a shut-in, who basically is an avid gamer, basically playing a series called Cross Revenue, I think it is. Cross something. It's Cross Revere. Yes, and the guy's name is Tamaka Sakamito. Now, here's the thing about this guy. I'm watching the English dub of the series, and who voices him? Why, the ever awesome Eric Vale. This makes the third anime I've watched where he is the lead character. Now, the last series I watched him in where he was actually voicing a character, let's see. Let me think here. I think I think the last series I did that where he was in was Asakusa's Rogue Hero. And the thing is, this character is a bit different. For one thing, he's not a pervert like the other guy is. This guy is very shy, but very lustful in a way. And he's pretty much just playing his normal game. He apparently, the way his character is, he doesn't like couples very much, so he kills a couple, and he has base, and his appearance is this. Like, he has horns, which actually they can come off. Yes, his horns can actually be removable. A long cape, a sort of like a shirt where it's unbuttoned, with opened, and pants and boots. And the way the guy walks in the anime, it's very similar to Ainzel Ghoul from Overlord. Yeah, it's a very similar walk. Heck, even from the back, it's like so similar. Like, if you watch this series, if you watch the Overlord series, you probably mistake Diablo for Ainzel Ghoul. And he just basically played a normal game, and then all of a sudden he's summoned to another world. Unlike in the case of ReZero, which the mystery is who summoned him there. Yeah, that mystery is never actually solved by the most recent book I read. What is revealed in the first episode of the series, who summoned him? Shira L. Greenwood, voiced by Sarah Windehoff. Yeah, I'm most familiar with this actress for voicing Toru from Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, and of course, Rem Gallo, who is voiced by Jad Saxton. This woman is known for voicing a couple characters I really enjoy watching in anime. One, of course, is Carla from Fairy Tail. The other, of course, is Sheltier Bloodfallen from Overlord. Yep. And pretty much he comes to the world and they pretty much discuss who's the master, and then he speaks to him. He's like, "You're the first summoner we've actually had summoned who actually speaks." How in the world they're able to actually summon him? It's not thoroughly explained. Oh yeah, and it's also in episode 2 that Shira is actually the heir to a throne. She's a princess who's supposed to marry this other guy who apparently is her brother. Yeah, I thought that was kind of gross. Even the books, basically, I thought this was disgusting. I mean, come on, marrying her brother just to produce an offspring? Seriously, what is wrong with you? Yeah, and she's an elf. Shira is an elf. Rem is a Partherion, who is simply put a cat girl. Yep. And of course, they're shocked, and of course, he sort of uses his ring, because apparently he has one of his magic abilities. He can do reflection, and they're going to use the magical enslavement spell on him, but it backfires, and it goes on them. I'm like, this particular plot thing is similar from Tesma's New Devil, where a smoking hot woman tries to get the male lead of the series to become her servant, and it backfires, and she ends up becoming the servant. Yeah, it's a very similar circumstance. The only difference is that there's no, this time, unlike in Tesma's New Devil, where there's a like a mark that pops up. Not in the case of this one. It's a collar. Which when I saw this in the light novel, I thought these were leather collars. Yeah, that's what I thought they were. It turns these collars actually now the way they look in the anime, their depiction is it looks like they're metal collars. Yes, and they wear these things, and Diablo is like has no idea how to remove them at all. Yep. So they go to town. They register. Well, they kind of register to become adventurers. Well, they try to, and they get there and they meet up with the head of the Magic Association, and the whole thing. And of course, there was something about them, well, freeing from the magical collars, which Diablo had no desire to do. It just happened to be that way because of reflection magic, and he suspects that Claire, that's the name of the head of the Magic Association, she knows. Like apparently, Rem knows because she has a secret. So after Claire leaves, he picks up Rem, takes him to their room, and then he proceeds to torture in the most hilarious way possible. Now, does this involve beating her, poking her with objects? No, he just plays with her ear. Of course, he does this while he's on top of her. They're probably thinking, wait, is he going to rape her? Nope. Doesn't do anything with her clothing at all. They stay exactly with her. Basically, ends up rubbing her ear, and then like he ends up like biting the ear too, like sucking on it, and that apparently reveals like what her deal is that well her deal is that this she has the soul of a demon lord in her body, a very powerful one. Yes. By the way, this comes to play actually later. Yeah, it's a one named Karasub, who is a female demon lord. Yep, and of course when he talks to Claire, that's the name of the woman, right? Yeah, so yeah, one of her guards apparently chastises him and meets him later with him at the end of the episode after she basically spills the beans like what's going on with her. Yeah, he perfectly understands it. He has no problem with it. He's not going to leave her, but he goes and he takes some think. So Rem stays in the room and he goes off, basically sits on a bench, just thinks about it, and then the guard comes in. Yeah, his name was Gal, I think his name is, and he summons a basically in order to take on Diablo. Like, I summoned my level 30 Salamander, and he's like, that is so weak. And he does hardly any magic. Basically, reflects right back at him. Does do some damage to the square that they're in. Of course, he's drunk. Of course, he had also some beer in him as well. And he doesn't do anything to the guy. He does yell at him after. He does basically chastise him for this, but he does nothing to him. Because, and this is my personal theory of why he doesn't kill him, despite the fact he probably would. He probably doesn't want to upset the Magic Association. Because if he kills him, the Magic Association probably hunt him down. So, he lets him live. Of course, the guy is later removed from his, well, later on it's revealed that after what happened in episode 2, he gets removed from the association. Well, I'll get back to him. And of course, well, Sheila has basically a big stomach. I'm like, and of course, there's common jokes about her breast. Yeah, and when they wake up in the next episode, this is by far one of the most hilarious scenes of the whole episode. He wakes up, and apparently his left hand is on Shira's breast, and he starts groping her, like squeezing her breast. And she's like, what? And then he has his other hand on Rem's chest. and his punishment for touching her is a big slap. They do this off screen. No, you don't see a mark afterwards. And of course, they register. And now Rem basically says she's a level 40. And so she doesn't have to register because she's registered. Sheila tests her magical power. And she tells, well, Diablo tells her to fill this in for him. Because from what I can tell, he cannot read a language at all. So he does basically has no problem spilling some blood. Though it's like too much blood. And like apparently Sheila is Shira's a level 30. 30, yes. And he mentions in episode 1 he's a level 150. And when he tested out, the thing has a very strange reaction, which causes the debut of the Guildmaster Sylvia, a woman who wears very little clothing, and her chest is the same size as Rem's. I am not kidding about that. And she's worried about him working, think that he working for someone like her who's actually weaker than him. He's like, I have no problem at all. As long as you get paid, it's fine. I have no problem with it. And so they sent him on the quest to take out this 20-foot snake. Yes, this 20-foot snake. And like he mentions, return with teleportation spell. And he basically, they have no idea what he's talking about. So, and it takes them 5 hours to get there. And of course, they chillax for a while. And then, of course, She-Ra noticed something strange. 10 people open the trees there. So he basically just summons the magic, knocks them out of the trees, and they're all elves. Yep. And they're from She-Ra's kingdom. The whole point of this particular scene is to set up the very next of episodes, which is the debut of our country. And they fire arrows at him. He's like, what? Those are your arrows? Those are very standard, very weak arrows. And then he sees an arrow that they summon a very treasured item, which he's like, those are very common in Cross Revenue. Why in the world do you have something that's a common item? And he fires at him and he deflects it. He's like, what? And he sort of attacks. Of course, they all go to their knees. And of course, Gallagher is there too. And he gets basically embarrassed by the whole situation. Yeah, and of course, he presented them a lie. That he presented Diablo as a slave trader. And She-Ra, their princess, is basically a slave. That was actually not true at all. So he lied. He later got kicked out for this. Of course, it's what happened to him in episode 4. So they get back, and this of course is a real one. So the quest is simply this: deliver some refreshments for the people at the border. Okay, and just basically Diablo and She-Ra goes. Rem takes some time off. Of course, he's very, let's just say, rambunctious about it. Of course, also it's revealed very early on that he's very socially awkward. Yeah, he has trouble talking to women. This is why I can find him very attractive. Yeah, so he also runs into, before he leaves, he runs into a guy by the name of, I know he's here. He runs into Emil, yes, who's voiced by Clifford Chapton, who's known for voicing Bakuto from My Hero Academia. This guy is a big airhead. He appears in these episodes, just episode 3 and 4, and that's it for him. He shows up, has a brief fight with Diablo. Diablo easily wipes the floor with him because he claims he's the strongest warrior in the city. Diablo wipes the floor with him in just a minute. Yep. And he doesn't want to kill him, or at least do any serious damage, because basically, really it would be beneath him. So, him and Sylvia go straight to the border with refreshments, and they get there, and turns out there's travelers coming through, what's going on? Turns out some Fallen, basically, of course, when they first get there, they mistake him for a Fallen. It's like, why would you take me for a Fallen for? I'm a demon lord from another world. So that's what he commonly refers himself as. So he goes, as soon as everybody's through, seal the gate. He sees a Fallen. He says there's about 100 of these creatures, and there's a smoking hot woman who's basically their leader. Her name is Elgard. Yes, that's her name. You see her, but she doesn't do anything until a little bit later. So after they seal the gate, he proceeds to launch a big barrage of magical attacks on him, which by the time he gets almost getting tired, he's eliminated 70 of them in a span of what looks like about maybe 10 minutes. Yeah, he eliminates a good chunk of them. And then their leader comes in, battles them for a little while, and he hears about what's going on in the capital. Meanwhile in the capital, Rem talks to Claire. I believe that's her name. I know if I mispronounce her name, I'm sorry. Just the head magical. She talks about what's going on with Diablo. And then her former subordinate comes in, uses a very strange magical knife, which proceeds to summon a Fallen. And the Fallen proceeds to kill her 2 guards with her, though Rem able to protect her long enough, even though she gets to an ally, but lucky enough that Emil comes in and protects him long enough for Diablo to show up. Yeah, and Diablo is like, because he hears what's going on, like, I need this quickly. So he uses a big magical attack, throwing all the magical beasts, and Elzgar is still alive despite the fact she's now topless. Yeah, her pretty much, yeah, she's reduced to wearing shorts. Yeah, apparently he was strong. Apparently she's still alive, but she just lost her top. And don't worry, she'll come back. So he basically here because he after he finished up, of course, he apparently also destroyed the whole bridge and part of the area too. As for if in fact that, well, sorry about that. I had sort of something on my side here bothering me. Anyways, so like Shivit had basically said next time, of course, he's returning her right back to the city, which everybody's like, what? Where did they go? They disappeared. Of course, he goes right back to the city, and he meets up with the fallen guy, and Emil basically is down. After basically a long grueling battle with him, he is pretty much down to just basically one sleeve of armor and his underwear. Yeah. So the Fallen launches an attack on him because he knows he's a sorcerer. He's basically a berserker. That's what he refers to him as. And he easily wipes the floor with him by first redirecting two of his attacks on him. First Dark Bullet and then Dark Push. Yep. And then he seals the magical dimension, and that's it for him. And of course, well, everyone thanks him for saving the city. And of course, he refers to Rem and Shira as his possessions in a very positive way. And of course, they, well, are very happy. And then, like, he's like so tired, and all of a sudden we have 10 days pass by. He's like, man, I'm so comfortable here in bed. And then Shira's like, well, time to get you out of bed by wearing some very skimpy attire. Which apparently this was Shiva's. That was Sylvie's idea. Yeah. Yeah. And wow. She looks so hot wearing this thing. It's like so little clothing. She kind of looks like one of those belly dancers. Okay. Yep. And that kind of gets out of bed. Of course, Rem pretty much hits her, but doesn't hit him because she didn't do anything wrong. And then they get a new quest to stop war between the city and the Elf Kingdom, also trying to return Shira to her people. And this pretty much sets up the next 4 episodes, which I'm looking forward to watching. Yes. As far as I can tell, I pretty much covered everything I could think of when it comes to these 4 episodes. I would have basically gotten this in a little bit sooner if I wasn't called for dinner. Yep, but these are a good set of episodes. I'm sorry if I may mispronounce a couple names, but I got pretty much close to it. Yeah, so that's a particular review. I might have time to do about a couple more reviews, at least probably the rest of the series today. It's possible. Yeah, I only got about 8 episodes left. So basically, episode 2 will be done today as well. Probably episode 3. And then I'll go back to Dragon Ball Z, okay? See you in the next video. Bye.